Today, we're going to dig into a really big idea, something that might just explain a feeling a lot of us have. It's this concept that we're all living in a world that's just moving way too fast, faster than our own biology was ever meant to handle. It's a whole new way of understanding why it feels like we're all just struggling to keep our heads above water. So let me ask you, does that sound familiar? You know that feeling of being totally overwhelmed? Or being so tired that even a full night's sleep doesn't seem to touch it? Maybe you just feel fundamentally out of step with the crazy pace of everything around you. If you're nodding along right now, I want you to know you're in good company. This isn't just you. Turns out this feeling is so common, it actually has a name and a whole set of symptoms that are popping up everywhere in our modern age. Just take a look at this list for a second. We're talking about chronic overwhelm, that feeling of being emotionally flooded all the time, a real spiritual disconnection, total decision fatigue, even our relationships becoming brittle, and maybe the biggest one of all, a loss of our own inner authority, our own sense of what's right. These aren't just bad days, They are symptoms of a much, much bigger pattern. And here is probably the most important thing to hear today. This is not your fault. It is not some kind of personal weakness or a sign that you can't cope. It's what happens when there's a massive mismatch between how we're designed on the inside and the world we've built on the outside. So that brings us right to the heart of the matter. The source material for this explainer gives this mismatch a name, and it calls it the coherence gap. So what is the coherence gap? Well, at its core, it's this ever-widening canyon between the insane speed of the world and our very human, very biological need to process things, to integrate what happens to us, and to make sense of it all at a much, much slower pace. And this really lays out the conflict perfectly, doesn't it? The world is just constantly accelerating, but we are rhythmic beings. We need cycles. The world drowns us in information, but our minds actually need time to integrate it all. The world demands we perform, when our bodies are literally screaming for rest. This gap, this is where we're living every single day. Okay, so the big question is, how in the world do we start to close this gap? Well, the answer isn't some new app or another productivity hack. It's not about trying to speed ourselves up. It's actually about slowing down and remembering 4 incredibly powerful intelligences that we already have inside of us. And this leads us to the actual framework. Think of it as a map to get back to a place of coherence. And it's built on 4 different but totally interconnected ways of knowing. Okay, so here's the equation at the heart of it all. You've got somatic intelligence plus spiritual intelligence plus human intelligence plus algorithmic intelligence. And when you put them all together, they create something called regenerative intelligence. So let's break down what each of these actually means. First up, you have somatic intelligence. This is your body's truth. It's that ancient, honest wisdom that talks to you through physical sensations. You know, that tightening in your gut, a knot in your chest, or that feeling of expansion and rightness. It is the one part of you that literally cannot lie. Next is spiritual intelligence, and I want you to think of this as your soul's compass. This has nothing to do with religion, it's all about resonance. It's that quiet inner hum, that deep knowing that tells you when something is true and aligned for you, way before your thinking mind has a chance to catch up and explain why. Third, we have human intelligence. Now, this is the one we're all super familiar with, right? It's our thinking, analyzing, storytelling mind. But here's the twist. Its real job isn't to be the boss of everything. Its job is to take the wisdom from our body and our soul and weave it all together into a story that makes sense. And the fourth one, this might surprise you. It's algorithmic intelligence, or AI. Now, this framework sees AI not as some kind of threat, but as a clarifying companion. It's like a mirror we can hold up to our own thoughts to spot patterns, organize ideas, and just take some of the heavy cognitive load off our poor, overworked human intelligence so it can finally breathe. So when you get all 4 of these intelligences online and working together in harmony, that's when you achieve regenerative intelligence. And this is the whole goal. It's that state of deep coherence that lets you stay grounded and clear in a world that is just moving way too fast. So, you might be wondering, where did an idea like this even come from? Well, it wasn't cooked up in some think tank. It was actually born from a really intense personal crisis that made its creation feel absolutely vital. The creator of this work actually survived a medical emergency that put her in a coma, and when she woke up, she had this profound realization that all these insights she'd been developing for years couldn't just stay inside her anymore. They had to be shared.
And this quote from her work just says it all. The wound wasn't the end of the story. The wound was the summons. The crisis wasn't just some horrible thing to get through. It was a call to action. It was a summons to build a map that could help other people find their own way back to coherence too. Now, this whole framework isn't meant to just be an idea you read about in a book. It's actually being shared as the foundation for a much larger movement, and there's some really clear ways for anybody to get involved. The whole thing is being presented as an invitation. It's not some finished, perfect product being handed down from on high. It's a living, breathing set of tools and ideas that actually needs a community to bring it fulls to life. So how do you participate? Well, there are 3 really clear steps. First, you can dive deep into the framework by reading the book. Second, you can start applying it to your own life by actually writing your own guidebook for life using the tools they provide. And third, you can join the larger movement to help build these community hubs, which they call lighthouses, to help share this work with more people. And so, after all of this, after exploring the coherence gap, the 4 intelligences, this incredible journey from crisis to clarity, it really all boils down to one single question. A question that only you can answer for yourself. What are the truths your life has taught you? What's the hard-won wisdom you carry in your bones? Really, what would your guidebook for life say?